Hi, welcome to Fieros Reborn, the channel of dreams and shagging. Did you know that quite often I don't actually know how I'm going to finish a sentence or what word is actually coming out of my mouth until I've already said it. Like shagging, I wasn't going to say that word. And then I said it. Yeah. The artwork's in the background. So yesterday I got kind of raped. In the video, I mean. Not in the I didn't actually get raped on camera, but yeah. So I was in New York, and yeah, it wasn't hardcore rape, but it was sexual assault. I don't know why I'm doing these videos anymore now. Like, I think no. Let me review that statement. I do know why I'm doing them. It's because I've started them and now I've got to finish them. What I meant to say was, I don't know why I'm doing this one particularly tonight, because I'm tired, fuck's sake. Why do I keep doing this even though I'm tired? You know? But overall, my body is a lot healthier than it was. Probably even when I started these things. I'm farting loads though at the moment. Yeah. And I feel like my hair is in a good place right now. This hair is so fucking tricky, you know? And it just seems to, it's nothing to do with it, it doesn't, it's like, it like doesn't have any fucking, it has a brain of its own, it doesn't obey any laws. It doesn't obey any laws, it's illegal hair. Like, you can't tell it to be good, and then it just suddenly becomes good randomly for half a day or a day. And then the next day you wake up and it's shit no matter what you do with it all day. And there's no, you can do whatever you fucking like to put it in a hat, and you think, yeah, the hat will calm it down. And then, and then you take the hat off and you're like, this is worse now. And then the next day you can put it in the hat and you take it out of the hat and you'll be like, oh, this is much better. And then the next day you can kind of comb it and it'll be terrible. The day after you comb it, it'll be amazing. So it's like, and you can wash it and it'll be shit. And then you don't wash it and it's amazing. And then you wash it and it's amazing. And you don't wash it, it's shit. It's just bizarre hair. It won't settle down. It's just constantly being shit one minute and then awesome the next minute. And for example, this moment I think is quite a good moment if I feel like it looks quite good. And then like, was it last video was terrible. Actually last video was okay, but 1 or 2 videos ago was terrible. So it's like, what is it doing? And it doesn't pay any, it heeds no laws, it obeys no rules. It's just, can't do it. Can't keep it in it. Can't fucking, pardon me. I'm just releasing gas from all areas. See, look, it looks fine now. And then yet earlier on, when I was taking nude pictures, it looked terrible. So, don't know, mate. I used to do this when I was at school. I used to suck on my hair in lessons. That's bad for it though, apparently. You shouldn't chew on your hair, apparently. Okay, so that's my hair lesson. It just does not obey the natural laws of anything. Put a product in, one day it will look great. You put product in, next day it looks terrible. As in, you're applying all the same principles every single time. Unless I was to wash it, put a hat on, take a hat off, let it get greasy for a bit, comb it, put product in, and then comb the product out all in one go, that's the only way. Maybe I have to just follow a strict regime of certain actions. Put it in a ponytail for a bit, put it down, and then miraculously, over the course of many different random actions performed rigorously, it suddenly becomes good. Yeah. I think just generally washing it is probably the best thing that I can do that makes it better. Yeah, so okay, fine, whatever. Fucking hair. Alright then. Well, I feel like we did a heavy session yesterday, you know? With the whole rapism thing. And for that reason, I don't think there's any much memory in me at the moment about what to talk about next. And I think that's kind of good. So I think maybe we need a bit of like downtime from these heavy topics, you know, being in America, being homeless, um, being kind of abducted but not really abducted, and then being assaulted, definitely sexually assaulted by a fat old bloke with a taste of gross, disgusting taste of acid in his mouth. Yeah, and a little tongue and a little penis. That is the feeling. That is the face and feeling that comes when I think of that person. Yeah. So, yes, I don't think this will be a very long video. Maybe just a slight recap. So let's just do a recap of what we've covered so far. So I went out with Mrs.A while I was at school. I was only 17. She was only 18. And then and we went out for a year and a half. It was great. And bad at the same time. Actually, it wasn't always great. It was really great, and then it was bad. It was like a very up and down relationship. I mean, it was very intense. So we used to have lots of amazing, loving moments, and then we'd have lots of drama as well. Just kind of, I reckon it was just basically hormone-based drama, you know. And neither of us really could control our feelings. So they would go from the high end of happiness and amazingness to the low end of, you know, angriness and confusion. She was mainly angry and I was mainly confused. Like, why? Who am I? What is life? And the sexuality thing was in there as well. And then she went to uni. The relationship fell apart because she cheated on me. I mean, I didn't really technically break up with her as such. I mean, we just kind of mutually parted ways because she'd obviously started seeing this other guy. So that was it, basically. There was no cut and dried end point. It wasn't just like, I've had relationships where there's like a definite, very kind of cut off end point where it's like, for example, this one girl, I called her up and just dumped her over the phone, and that was it. Oh dear. And she couldn't handle it. So that was it. And then we kind of had like a few little bits of email conversation here and there afterwards, but she wasn't really up for that. So that was it. It was a very straightforward, no, this is the end because I've made a decision in myself about this. That's the end, and you know, I don't want to do it anymore. And I can't do it anymore, and I don't feel right doing it. So that's the end. So it was a very simple, straightforward end point to that one. Although some of the feelings dragged on for a little longer afterwards. But yeah, but with Mrs.A, there was no cut and dried end point. We stayed friends. We stayed in contact for a while. And then we lost contact for a bit. And when I met Mr. B, working that job in the steakhouse restaurant, and he was hitting on me and stuff. I was still in contact, occasional contact with Mrs.A then, and through my relationship with Mr. B, I was still in contact with Mrs.A, and that was pissing off Mr. B, and that was adding a drama and a conflict in my relationship with Mr.B. Thank God I'm not with him anymore. Fucking hell. Fuck that guy. So that's done. I don't think that's probably one of the parts of the whole story that is the least covered in my own brain. Like, a lot of shit went on in that relationship that I've not really fully delved into, even in my own like journaling and stuff. There's stuff that's in there. Even as I speak about it, I feel like there's a big kind of cloud of energy around it, around that relationship. There's unprocessed information, basically like emotional information that I've not come to terms with fully. I've not come to terms with how he treated me. I've not come to terms with how I felt. I've not come to terms with all the like traumatic, abusive type things that he did to me. Yeah, so that's something that's like on my topic of healing things to go through. On my list, sorry, of healing topics to go through, he's gonna come next. I mean, I still feel like part of me is not fully over Mrs.A. It's quite a deep part. There's a real deep inside like sliver of this thing, and it was there last year. No, sorry, the year before, 2016. It came up really big. Like, I started becoming randomly obsessed with her again. I was like, oh my God, where is this coming from? And it just thinking about her and feeling like her, and suddenly needing to discuss her again and talking to my friends, like saying, oh my God, I've just randomly become obsessed with my ex-girlfriend all of a sudden. And that went on for a while, a few months even. And I was doing these journal exercises as well to try and deal with that. But I think probably the journal exercises is what started it. I think I'd intentionally revisited my past to try and heal it, and that had suddenly thrown up all these feelings and these thoughts that were unresolved from the past. So that's where all that obsession suddenly came from. It's that I basically dug into my subconscious a bit, into my past, to bring stuff up, to heal it, to let go of it, so that I could relax a bit more in the present and to let go of old emotional baggage. I'd done that intentionally as a healing process, healing journey. But I found that I probably brought up too much in one go, because I was suddenly like obsessed with her for ages. And then there's still now this little sliver, but it's quite a deep sliver. It's like this really deep, emotionalized part of me. I feel it to be like quite far back, even in my inside me, if that makes any sense. In my inner body, I feel like there's this part of me that's still attached to her. And the main thing is that I used to hope for her to come back. That was the main point of it. And that was something I kind of kept alive in me, which is this hope of her returning, or hope of her finally taking me back. Hope of meeting her one day randomly on the street, and then we can reconnect and we can start our relationship again, basically. So I would say that that's probably some kind of feeling of loss that's not fully been articulated yet, that I haven't fully touched the pain deep enough to release that and to let it go. And I'm doing that this week. I'm still working on some writing exercises about her. And I hope to be done with it. But then there's the little part of me that doesn't want to be done with it, because the little part of me that wants to reunite with her is the part that I'm trying to get access to. And I'm sort of like, why do I still hold on to this person, and why can't I let that go? And also, am I ready to? And what is it? Maybe I just need to feel that feeling, or go into the experiences again, and there's something unresolved inside me about it, and I can feel it now. It's like this little packet of energy that is all tied up in her and that experience of being with her. So that's on my agenda for this week of healing tasks. And then once I've done with her, if I ever get done with her, fully, or to a level where it's like I suppose I don't want to have this hope for reuniting. There's a part of me that is like still thinks of that every now and again, and it gets in the way of new relationships still. There's some part of me that doesn't want to like fully commit to anyone else because it's just a tiny little part that's still waiting for Mrs.A to come back. And that was something that got in the way of my last relationship for sure. So that's partly why I wanted to really go into this and heal it, because and there's this like part of it as well, is like it feels, the part of me that says I'm hoping for her to come back is a part of me that says she's my true love and it's like destined for us to be together and stuff like this. And the conflict is, if I fully let go of her, but what if it's destiny, something like that? And then there's another part that says, well, that's all totally ridiculous. And there's another part that says, but no, because sometimes that does happen, that people drift apart for years and years and years, and then they end up re-meeting 20 years later, and then they get married because they realise that they were supposed to be together, or that now is the right time for them to be together. And there's another part of me that's just saying, that kind of thing doesn't happen. It only happens in movies, and it's like a much more rational sort of naysayer approach. And so inside of me, there's a still distant yearning for this person. It's interesting that it goes that way. And sometimes I speak about things as being over there, but this one goes kind of that way. So it's over there. Maybe she lives in that direction. She probably does live in that direction. It's kind of London. And from here, that maybe is London. I don't know where London is. Anyway, yeah. So there's this part of me in there that's like kind of, and it's so hard to articulate, to really sense into what is that feeling saying, and what does it want, and is it true as well. There's a part of it that really says that it's true to wait for her, or that it's true that we are destined to be together, and it's true that she's the one for me. But then there's the other part which says, no, that's just an emotional attachment problem, basically. That the reason you think that it's true, that it's destiny, is because you're just holding on to this person, and it's never been destiny, and you should just let go of her. And then there's a part that's like still contracted, saying, no, because she is the person who fits me the best, who is the same intelligence level, we have the same interests, we've got the same character, we've got the same sense of humour, we work together. It was only a teenage problem that was why we didn't work fully at the time. She's the first person who ever understood me, and she feels like my deepest friend still. Who I imagine that if I got back in contact with her, I would immediately be able to pick up straight away. It would be like no time had even passed, and we would just crack on and get back on with it, or we'd at least be really, really good friends in each other's lives. And so there's that, and I feel it in there. And then the other aspect is saying, no, you're still just holding on to this person. You just got to let go of that and let go of it forever. And like really let go of it. So such to the point that if the whole destiny thing is the truth, then you still have to let go of it, because otherwise it's just going to bug you. And if it is destiny, then let destiny deal with it, kind of thing. It's weird. Why do I believe in so much destiny? I believe in so many destiny things, and so far none of the destiny things have ever come true. So fuck it. One of them will come true one of these days, or none of them are ever come true. And it was just a foolish thing to believe in destiny all along. I bumped into a random person who I used to know really well. He used to be in my band while I was writing about Mrs.A, and he knew Mrs.A. He may well still know her tangentially, like his friends might know her. Yeah, so there are still people around, so it could happen technically. That was weird. That was totally weird. And I think he saw that I was writing about her as well. I was like, oh fuck. I thought, oh god, how am I going to explain this? But I quickly hid it away. Because what am I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm just writing about this person that I used to go out with when we were in a band when I was like 18. Yeah, I'm still writing about her. What? Yeah, because part of me never got over her fully, that's why. Oh man, my life sucks. Yeah, so then I went out with Mr. B. That went to shit and it was a horrible abusive relationship. I left that and started to go a little bit nuts, I suppose. Meanwhile, I was also at uni. Then I quit my uni course. Yeah, and like shortly after I quit my uni course, that's when I broke up with Mr. B. And then I went on this sort of, don't know, quest thing to Reading to live there for a month, played drums, walked around, lay under trees. Someone got out of a car once while I was laying on the grass, face down, and said, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just fine. Pardon me, I'm just lying on, yeah, I'm just relaxing or whatever." But yeah, they probably thought I was dead or something because I wasn't. I was lying in a strange position and in a weird part of the park that was not a normal like lying down place, I suppose. It's just kind of a bit odd to be lying so close to the pavement, I think. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, but I was fine. Lived in Reading for a while. Nearly got picked up by a random weirdo, creepy guy in a car with a porn mag. Did not get picked up by him. Went to meditate under the tree, not on the same day probably, but different time, and to find out what to do next. Decided, or it was given to me by the universe or the tree itself, that I was to go to Australia or America. You know, quite similar, beginning with A, I suppose, aren't they? America, New York with the pants, the underpants, the pants that said "I heart New York." I thought, this is a sign. And Dan, the guy with the little beard, didn't have a beard. He had a beer though, and straggly hair, and crooked teeth, and a crooked nose, and a little claw hand, and fat little belly, and a stupid little laugh. The Gremlin Man. He told me a story about how he'd been to New York. Boom, boom, boom. I said, "Yeah, wow, that's amazing." And then I also bumped into another friend of mine who was a fellow busker while I was busking in Windsor, or just about to. And he said, "Oh, yeah, New York's amazing. You'll have a great time." So that was it. That was settled. Meanwhile, I bumped into Mrs.C, who put a business card, in my guitar case while I was busking. And she said, "I don't normally do this, but..." And she chucked her card in there, and on the back of it said "call me" with a little smiley face, and it obviously had her number on it. So I called her. I think she may well have put her mobile number, like she might have written that on separately, like it might not have been on the card. I have a feeling that she'd written her number on directly on the card, and a little smiley face that said "call me." So I did call her, and we went out for a date, and we ate. I ate a muffin and had a hot chocolate. I don't know what she had. Maybe a muffin and a coffee or something. But previous to that, I'd been having random interactions with the old queer pervy guy in the wheelchair, by the way. And I drew a picture of him, actually. Not naked, thank fuck for that. I just drew a picture of him because he wanted me to, because I was an artist, and I said, "Yeah, I'll do a picture." And I showed it to him, and he said, "But you've been very honest," because I'd drawn him as fat as he was. What do you expect me to do? Draw you a fucking six-pack, you overweight perv? Yeah. So, and then I got naked for him so he could massage me on Fire the Grid Day, which was utterly ridiculous. But yeah, so I did that. So then when I went to have my date with Mrs.C, I told her, "Oh yeah, I just had well, the weirdest thing I just done lately is I went and had a massage with a 48-year-old gay guy in a wheelchair." And she was like, "Oh, you silly little thing." in an Australian accent because he was Australian. She was Australian, but I was going to America. Very similar beginning of word, beginning with A and ending in A. Actually, both is A to A. America, Australia. Yes, I'm sure there's some extra letters that are the same in there as well. Like America. Okay, shut up now. Well, I'm not going to shut up, but I will stop doing that thing. So, so what else? Okay, so she, Mrs. C, allowed me to. Hold on a minute. Did I have sex? You should always have sex. No, did I have... No, that's another part of the story which happens after I come back from America, so we have to get through the whole America thing before I tell that part of the story when I had sex with that person. Anyway, Mrs. C, yes, I did have sex with Mrs. C. She let me stay in her house for 3 weeks. During that time, my dad launched an ambush for me to be sectioned because he thought that I was going nuts and I was having none of it. And also the mental health professionals did not think that I was quite nutty enough to be sectioned. So I got away with it that time and packed up my stuff, got rid of a load of crap, and then ended up going to America. Yay. Now, why am I thinking, did I have sex with that person or not? A different person. No, I must have had sex with her after I came back from America. Okay, fine. Yes, I had sex with another person after I came back from America, but we'll get to that later. So I got to America, they let me in through the customs. I had nothing to declare. And I also told them I wasn't going to do anything. Like, what are you planning to do here? Nothing. I'm just planning to be here. And they're like, okay, fine. And they didn't ask any more questions. Actually, they only asked a few questions, and they were like, they looked at me slightly dodgy, but they're like, yeah, just whatever, just crack on, go in, get into the country, get on with it. So I went and stayed in a couple of different hostels. Did not go up the United States for America building. Empire State Building. United States for America building. Why do I call it that? That's ridiculous. I said that last time I said it as well. I know it's the Empire State Building. Everyone knows it's the Empire State Building. It must be a slip of the tongue. I called the guy a big guy. That sounds really strange out of context. Went on a little sightseeing trip with this bunch of people from the first hostel I stayed at, and one of them was a fairly big guy, broad-shouldered, fairly tall, and I called him big guy. Hey man, what's up, big guy? And he was like, don't call me that. And I always remember that because I thought it was ridiculous. You are a big fucking guy, and also I might have even said that to a small person, like in a friendly kind of banter way. Yeah, you're right, big guy. Doesn't actually refer to your size at all, specifically. I mean, it happens that you are a big guy, but I wasn't even meaning it in that way. I just meant big guys and like, hey, dude. Hey, big dude. Hey, not big dude. Hey, big guy. How's it going? Like, how you might speak to your friend who's like, yeah, how's it going, big guy? It wasn't to do with his fucking size. Stupid dick. Oh, yeah. And, I forgot to tell you this story. By the way, when I got on the train, one of the first subways I got on, this weird thing happened, and I thought I was about to be murdered because these people got on the train, right? And they started like shouting and stuff, and like making kind of shouting and being really leery. I thought, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And they were sort of addressing the crowd of people on the train as in they were addressing the passengers. They weren't just having an argument to themselves, as they were like addressing the fucking train people really aggressively. And I was like, oh god, like as though they were threatening them. And I was like, oh fucking hell, I've got into a subway in New York, sorry, and I'm about to be killed, and I've only just got here. But what it was that was their opening intro to a bit of performance, like poetry thing. like a little. It was like a rap. Yeah, it did the performance rap thing with a little dance. But it scared the fucking shit out of the whole carriage, and me included. And they did this like rap thing, and then they went round handing out a little, like with a little bag thing to put money in. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, I thought I was about to die because they were clapping right as well when they were doing it. They came onto the train and like clapping really loud, and I thought, oh god, like this banging noise and this shouting. And I was like, oh no, yeah, I'm back. I've come on the train. I'm being terrorized. I'm going to be a terrorist victim, you know. And it just turned out that it was just a rap sort of piece of street work. That happened on the trains, by the way. They had buskers who were in the trains. I should have mentioned that, but I didn't. They had buskers, and they would just kind of walk through the trains, busking with what instrument it was. That's kind of cool, actually. You don't get that in England, probably because the train, first Great Western, trying to get through the carriages with your violin or your guitar, like just can't do it. It would work on the underground, actually, because they've got some of the underground trains have got really wide middle parts, so you could do it there, but obviously it's illegal to do that, I think, because if it wasn't illegal then people would be doing it, but they're not doing it as far as I'm aware, but they are doing it in America. Yeah, so busking on trains was interesting. It was always cool. But then you also just got your beggars on the trains who they would just like walk around with a hat or a bag, just saying, "Can you give me some money?" And that was their performance. And I should just tell you another story, actually, which was I did a bit of street performance when I was in New York, mainly for the hell of it, but probably because I wanted the money as well. And one of my street performances was to put my guitar case down in the middle of some area of park area, whatever. I don't think it was Central Park. It might have been Central Park. I don't know. But it was close to Whole Foods. I know that much. There was a giant Whole Foods thing somewhere in there. And I put my guitar case down on the floor, but standing up. So, on its side. So it was like a... Let me see what you can see for a second. Hold on. So, like, imagine that's my guitar. So it wasn't flat on the floor. It was like that. So you had the... that'll do. Bang. So this is the body of the guitar, and that's the neck of the guitar, yeah? So it's sat there, but it's actually kind of angled down, so that's the ground there, at the bottom there. So it's sort of resting on the ground, right? And then I get on top of it, and I pull a stupid pose. It was something like this. And I was with my one leg out. And I was just doing this pose, right? With a hat on the floor for them to donate. I think maybe 1 or 2 people donated to that one. So that was ridiculous. So my street art performance was just to stand in a pose on top of my guitar case. Oh man. And then the next one I did was I just went up with my little hat. No, sorry, let me get this right. So I went up to some people who were sat on a bench, and I went, "Far is my little lovely, biddly doddly, biddly doddly, biddly biddly bally, diddly doddly doddly, hiddly doddly da, biddly doddly da, ha ha, diddly ba, diddly ba, diddly ba, ba ba, diddly dee, ooh, ha, ha." And then I just got my little hat out, and I went. And I think they were just so bewildered by the whole thing, that they just sort of went, "Oh right, okay," and they got out like a load of money and stuck it in the thing, in the hat. Just look on their faces like, "Ah. Yeah, I guess I should fucking pay this guy." Yeah, so he was like, it was a complete, like, rubbish, terrible performance. He just went up and sang some random gibberish in front of them, and then just held my hat out like, As though that was enough. And it worked. They went, oh, right. Just the look at their stupid faces. Where they're just like, oh, right, yeah. You know, as though, because I was so sort of expectant, like, they just sort of felt it was the right thing to do, to give me a load of money, even though it was absolutely terrible. After I just done this little pose on the fucking guitar case. And that was my busking. To stand and pose on my guitar case like for about 2 minutes. Oh man, that's so good. Oh man, oh jeez. Yeah. Those little faces. Okay. Oh dear, some of the things I've done in my life. That was so silly. Okay, so moving on. Oh boy. And I just made it up on the spot. Obviously, you know, it doesn't really take much planning, but I just thought I'll wing it. And it worked. Yeah. I don't think I did it again either. I think I might have done it a second time, but I don't think I did because I didn't want to sort of ruin it. I thought that was a one-time, that was a one-time performance, and those people will probably never forget that one time. There's this weird guy come up to them after standing on his guitar case like this with his leg out, and then come up to them and just sat like, well, just stood in front of them and went, and then held a hat out. Oh, okay, it's probably not that funny, but I found it fucking funny. Oh boy. Okay. Oh man. Because it was the right thing to do for them, you know. It's obvious. I think it's just my face, as I say. It's my face that got them. Like, oh boy. Oh yeah, and then I started like drawing signs as well for my busking, like stupid ones. Like one of them just said, "I just want a beer." Oh man. I think that's been done before though, but I thought it was original at the time. I just wrote a sign. I was like, I just want a beer. Who am I kidding? And that's what it was. It said, who am I kidding? I just want a beer. And stuck that up and just sort of walked around with it or sat around with it. I can't remember. Yeah, I wasn't even homeless at that point. Well, was I though? Oh dear. Yeah. Oh. All right, let's just leave it at that because, you know, I don't think I'm going to be able to recover from that. Okay. All right then. Catch you later. Thanks for watching.